In this presentation, I'm gonna probably take 30 minutes overall to go through what Greenlight Match is. Ellen, I love your support at times. If you could let us know about how Philly Future, Stepping Stone are utilizing Greenlight Match. Anything, yeah, feel free to chime in anytime, Ellen. So Greenlight Match is an initiative of College Greenlight. Um, I've started using this graphic to depict the current college application process. For many students, it can be like climbing the steepest mountain. The process has been way too challenging, way too stressful. We think that there can be a better way. And so with Greenlight Match, we've developed a new platform, really a new process to better support students through the college admissions and application process. We really have reimagined the process and really think specifically around the challenges that first-gen underserved students have throughout the process. And so we have worked initially through a partnership to develop a whole new system to really improve what has been a way too stressful, complex process. Again, I'm Jonathan. This is my contact information. I've been with College Greenlight since it launched 11 years ago. We got our start in the Chicagoland area based on relationships that we had with College Access and Success organizations in Chicago, but we're definitely a nationwide program at this point. Recently, we became part of a much bigger organization, EAB, who acquired our original parent, CapEx. And so you'll see my email address is japril@eab.com. If you have any questions, please, at any time, reach out to me. Greenlight Match is an extension of the work that we've been doing at College Greenlight. At Greenlight, we support two big communities, the nationwide college access community, as well as higher education. The map on the bottom of our screen, every red circle represents an organization that utilizes our free resources with their students. People know us for our fly-in program list or list of 100% meet needs schools, our online workshops for college access counselors and students. We work diligently to support the nationwide college access community with free resources. We live and breathe for our CBOs and our high school counselors that utilize our resources. We also are connected to higher education. All of our resources are free for organizations. It's our university partners who help to make that possible. 400 colleges, universities are part of our community, and we provide them support in helping them to recruit and enroll more students, helping them to develop pipelines by connecting with the amazing organizations that support them, people like Ellen and the rest of you on this call who support students through this process. About a year ago, we developed a new initiative called Greenlight Match as an extension of the work that we do, really squarely focused on significantly improving the college admissions and application process. We know that there are all kinds of challenges that students face in, again, what we call this traditional process. The notion of fee waivers, it can be costly to apply to college, even if you can get a fee waiver, which is way too complex to get. Applications can be too lengthy. Colleges often ask questions that they don't really need answers to. Students often apply too late. They'll certainly get decisions too late, especially financial aid awards. And then there are big information and opportunity gaps that cause students to miss out on opportunities that could lead to really great outcomes they just don't know about. So with Greenlight Match, we're trying to address all of those challenges. Greenlight Match is completely free. There is no notion of a fee waiver because it's free. It is a simplified and streamlined process. Greenlight Match, we kind of have like 3 mini admission cycles that all take place in the fall so that students get college offers in the fall so that they have a longer runway to make good decisions. And throughout the process, we're helping to connect them to colleges, universities that will be generous and supportive to them that they may have missed. On the college side, we know that colleges are missing students. With Greenlight Match, we're trying to help colleges connect with new students. So Greenlight Match is a complete reimagination of the college admissions and application process. Someone said we're trying to blow up the current process. We're not. We're just trying to make it better. So traditionally, students build a list and then they apply to those schools. If a student does not know about a college, if a student does not think they could get in, does not think they could afford it, they're not going to apply to that school. They're going to miss out on any opportunity that might exist there. With Greenlight Match, we are flipping the model so that colleges essentially are applying to students. Instead of filling out an application for each school, supplemental essays, etc., students complete a single profile through Greenlight Match. It's not an application to any one school. It allows students to receive offers from a number of participating colleges. The profile is streamlined, but still really robust. To me, it almost looks like a counselor questionnaire. Classes you love, classes you don't love, your dream job, extracurricular activities, what you're looking for in a college, your grades, most commonly a transcript upload. And that's kind of it. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes for the student to complete the profile. That profile is then scored against every participating college in terms of match and fit. Where there's a sufficient match, the profiles are made available to colleges as if they were an application. Colleges do their holistic review. They just have a much shorter timeline to do that review. They have 2 weeks to do that review. During that period, students receive offers from those colleges. Those are true offers of admission. The student does not need to fill out a second application. Colleges participating have all agreed to accept the profile as if it were an application. So essentially, there are 3 major aspects to match. One is student completes the profile. And I'll show you at the end what the profile looks like so you get a sense of what questions we're asking. Students cannot come to Greenlight Match on their own. They need to be invited by their counselor to participate. It can be a school-based advisor, it can be a CBO advisor, it can be a mentor. Any advocate working with students. Again, the focus of Greenlight Match is first generation, lower income, underserved students. That's really the population that we are looking to support. So students get invited to match, and any student can be invited to Greenlight Match. There's no limit on that. Any student that has college in their future can be invited to participate. Students complete the profile. Again, 25 to 30 minutes to complete the profile. That profile is then submitted to their counselor to certify. Basically, that means the counselor, to the best of their ability, is signing off on this is, to the best of their knowledge, this profile is accurate. In many cases, the counselor is the one that uploads the transcript because the counselor often has easier access to that transcript. Counselors certify the profile, and then they nominate the student. All that means is they click a button to nominate their students. Those profiles, again, are scored against participating colleges who let us know what they're looking for in a student, basically, roughly who would be an admissible student. Schools receive the profile. A key part there is the profile going into college is actually anonymized. The student's name and email address are actually removed from the profile, so there is no bias. And the student has 100% control over their private information. Students' information is only made available to colleges if they make the student an offer and the student wants to take the next step with that college. So colleges receive that profile. Again, they have 2 weeks to review those profiles. Typically, it is the admissions counselor from that school that may be assigned to your high school, to your CBO that does the review. There may be more than one set of eyes on that profile. But they have 2 weeks to review the profile. They do their typical holistic review. If they need more information, they can ask the student, they can ask the counselor, we want the counselor and the college to be actively connected to support the students. So colleges do the review. If the student is admissible, they make an offer. It is a true offer admission. Importantly, that offer includes scholarship awards as well, most typically merit aid, what the college can provide off of that academic, mostly academic record. If a college can meet full need, which some of our colleges are doing, they'll often indicate that through that offer. Students receive the offers. They'll review them. They can review them with their counselor. Again, everything the student sees, the counselor sees as well. If the offer is compelling to them, they're basically, there's a yes or no. Are you interested in taking the next step with that school? If a student says yes, that is the student agreeing to share their information with the college. The student then gets uploaded into the college's system as a true admitted student. They'll get the lovely letter in the mail. They'll be invited to admitted student events. They are an admitted student. Ellen, anything you wanted to add here?
Sure, just wanted to add in terms of like the question of like the status, because I was thinking about it's a great question. I think the student portal where they go and make their profile, kind of students hear back from colleges pretty quickly. We had some students from Philly Futures Stepping Stone Scholars who did this in September. It was the first thing they did in their like weekly after school class. And about a week and a half later, they started to get some matches back, which was really exciting. And then so students have that through their portal and they get like an email alert. And then the counselors also get an email saying like, your students have 19 new matches and then it says like each student with each college. And then also as colleges are still reviewing, they're reaching out to some of the advisors at Philly Futures to say, hey, just wanted to ask you about this grade, or, oh, I just wanted to know more about the school. And so it's pretty interactive through the portal that you'd have access to and that your students would have access to in terms of like a live update. I think Jonathan has a slide later about kind of the data you can see, like, live time for your school or organization or group of students, just to make sure that you know what's going on with Match, because there are so many colleges involved. But I think the platform is really intuitive. I would say it's user friendly, in a way that sometimes you're like, naviance. So it is helpful in terms of feeling like what's going on from at least from like the student and counselor feedback so far.
Yeah, and Martish, to your question around status, when I think of status bar, I guess I think of two things. One is the status bar for the completion of the application, which often can take several hours in the Common App, and so it's helpful to know which sections you have completed. With Greenlight Match, I'll show you it again. It's about 30 minutes. Most of our students complete that in one setting, so there is not really a status bar for that. Certainly, as their profile is submitted, they start getting offers. But that's a good question about how to make that maybe more user friendly from the student side. So we ran this as a pilot in Chicago last fall, a year ago. We had 24 organizations participate, a wide variety of programs: College Possible Chicago, our big charter networks, Noble and Urban Prep. And so for us in Chicago, then we know all those schools. So it's basically obviously College Possible in Philadelphia. It's basically your mastery with the kind of schools were participating. We had 10 colleges that took a leap with Greenlight Match. We had almost 700 students that were nominated. Those students received about 2,000 offers of admission from colleges. So on average, students received 3 offers per student. 90% of students that completed a profile received an offer, and they received in total about $135 million. We're now beyond our pilots, and so we are now in, I would say, phase 2. And so I'm hoping very soon we'll be able to report back about the data that we're seeing from Ellen's students at Philly Futures. and the students at Mastery, et cetera, the offers that they are receiving. We were really excited about the feedback that we received from our Chicago pilot. NACAG published a research brief on expanding equity and access and admissions. They highlighted Greenlight Match as an innovative program. Our CBO community loved Greenlight Match, completely free. Their students were getting all kinds of offers from really generous colleges. Colleges were excited because they were seeing new students, including students that from high schools that they had not visited. So we're now expanding Match this fall. New York City, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, and Twin Cities. We're super excited about Philadelphia, in addition to our other communities. In all of these regions, we have, for the last several months, reached out to leading college access organizations and schools. We have talked to lots and lots of colleges. We've talked to school districts. And so we're thrilled. Thanks to support of people like Ellen, we're really thrilled in Philadelphia. Organizations like College Possible and KIP and Mastery and Gerard and others will be using Greenlight Match this fall, or have already started using this. Certainly, I know a huge question that you might have is like, which colleges are participating? So there are, as of now, there are exactly 81 colleges that have signed on to be Greenlight Match partners. We sort of view our regions almost as their own regional admissions ecosystems. We know that certainly with the pandemic, students are staying closer to home. So our goal certainly is to have local opportunities for students that would want to stay close to home, while also giving students opportunities to go to farther areas, additional areas, if they would like to see out-of-state schools. So there are, I think, about a dozen Pennsylvania schools that have signed on to be Greenlight Match partners. Those are the ones that are bolded at the top. We're really excited about having a strong mix of schools. Thirdly, we love every day we're having more conversations with additional schools about bringing on more schools. If any of you have any connections to schools, we'd be thrilled to have more colleges join. IUP is our one PASHE school. We would certainly be thrilled to have more. Colleges that join there's like 2 big leaps and 1 small leap for them. And I want to be as transparent as possible with you all. The big leap is they need to accept the Greenlight Match profile as if it were an application. 2, they need to accelerate their timeline. Our goal with Match, as I will show you on this page, is to really have an accelerated timeline so that students are receiving offers earlier than they typically would from colleges. So Ellen mentioned the first event, September 23rd. Students' profiles that were certified by that date started receiving offers October 3rd and will receive offers through this Friday. We have two more match events coming up, one October 20th and one November 23rd. So they had to also take that leap. There also is a small fee, which is a nominal fee for colleges to participate. It's a $2,500 fee for colleges to join on as a pilot partner. So that has really not been a big barrier. The biggest barrier has been, I would say, bandwidth. Colleges are also going through the Great Resignation. And so their teams sometimes are strapped. And so that actually has been often the biggest objection from institutions, is sort of their ability to take on a new system, a new platform.
So right now, students at Northeast High School, students at Kensington Classic, Kensington Kappa, Kensington Health Science, and also students. There are students in the Philly Futures Stepping Stone Scholars Program who attend about 30 different high schools, public high schools across the city. We did meet with the Office of Post-Secondary Readiness, who also have a leadership change, and are going to be meeting with them again in the spring to talk about rolling this out for the next year. So while this is only like year one, we hope to have many more colleges, many more high schools and students who are able to participate and connect to Match kind of going forward after the pilot year in Philly. There's no cost associated with participating in Greenlight Match or with submitting any of the applications. It's all free.
Yeah, we know that the process is painful for all students, but it's especially painful for first-gen students.
Right.
That's really our goal, is to reduce barriers for students that are supported by organizations like Philly Futures. I'll use this as an opportunity to quickly take you through the profile so that you can see the questions that we're asking and what it looks like. And I'll also touch on kind of the FAFSA element of it. So it starts with the counselor. Again, RB, it could be you, it can be Ellen, it could be the team at Philly Futures, it can be a Philadelphia public school counselor. We would create an account for you. We partnered with a technology company called Concourse that a year ago was a separate company that actually invented this kind of the split admissions model. They're now part of our parent EAB. So all counselors get a link to share with their students that connects those students to their accounts. Students come in and they complete the profile. The profile has three sections to it. One is the about you. The second are the grades, which 99% of students have, instead of inputting courses and grades, they have just uploaded a transcript. It can be an unofficial, it can be an official. The student can upload that, or the counselor can. And then if the student has scores, they can submit them, or like in most cases, they can, with other schools, they can be test optional. Basically, we tell students, share what you have and don't stress what you don't have. If you have a letter of recommendation, if you have an essay, you can upload those. If you don't, in many cases, in most cases, colleges have not required those pieces of information. So the profile has a few questions. Arvia, there is a question in the profile that does ask the student if they know their EFC. That's an optional question. If they don't know that, they can leave that blank. If they do, they can. The about you has about a half a dozen questions on each page. One is basically who the student is. We want them to authentically depict themselves. Classes they love, classes they don't love, extracurricular activities, what they do outside of school, their dream job. Often a student has some sense of what their dream job is, but they might not have any idea what they would need to major into to accomplish that. And so colleges, when they review the profile, in some cases, they'll actually suggest a major to a student if they might have a different major than would fit that student's. The next page is what they're looking for at a college, their area of interest, what they want to major in, any other kind of skills they're looking to develop, and what they're looking for in a college. There's also a couple of questions. They're looking for big school, small school, urban, rural, etc. And that's really the profile. It takes, again, 25 to 30 minutes to complete. We've had a lot of success in high school seminar classes or after school programs supporting students to complete their profile. Unlike other applications, there are no questions that a student should not be able to answer on their own. There's nothing they'll need to ask a parent or a guardian about. These are usually questions they can answer. That profile is then submitted to their advisor to certify. So you'll see the pencil marks in the profile. The counselor can edit, counselor can review, but typically the counselor takes a couple minutes to review the profile. They might upload the transcript, and then they nominate the student for match. All that means is they're clicking a button. Again, any college-minded student can be nominated for match. There's also a note section. If the counselor does not have a letter of recommendation, they just want to leave a quick note for colleges. Maybe they'll say, this student's grades does not reflect who they are as a students. And so there's kind of a quick note feature. Those are private. Only the colleges see those.
Can I also, oh, sorry. Can I also just add in terms of like process and resources? Greenlight has some training support. So Greenlight works with Concourse, and they'll come and first of all, like talk to and train the staff on how to use the platform and answer questions. And then they'll come back if you want to your class and walk students through the profile. Which we found really helpful because, it's the first year we're doing it. So they might have questions the same way they're going to have questions when they're filling out the Common App or any other application. So just wanted to say that there's a kind of built-in support there that's really nice, because even though it's very simple and it really takes students 30 minutes, it's very intuitive, they're still going to be thoughtful about it. They're still going to have questions. And I found that was really helpful since it was new, just to be able to say like, oh yeah, here's what I'm thinking, but let me make sure I run that by Greenlight too. And that was helpful in terms of launching this. So yes, basically what we did was coordinated with Jonathan and said, hey, our classes are meeting after school on these days. They're meeting at Northeast on these days. They're meeting at Kensington after school on these days. Could you come and zoom in and, walk through the profile with students? They also offered to come in person, which was really lovely, but we had so many different, schools and locations that we decided to do it virtually. Yes, so they were there and available for the first time that we had students log on to Match and do their profile, which was great.
So colleges, again, the profiles are then made available to matching colleges. So as I mentioned, like there's a deadline for a college certification. There's a 1-week matching period, and then on a Monday, colleges get their list of students that match them. They come in to their portal. They'll do the review. They would not see Allison Smith. They would see basically a string of numbers. Her name would be redacted so that it's anonymized. Colleges do the review. Student is admissible. They make a true offer of admission to that student. It would say, congratulations, you've been admitted to Susquehanna, Lycoming. They may admit the student to a certain programs or just to the college. Their offer will include scholarship awards. Below this, you don't see basically the yes, no button. Are you interested in taking the next step with this school? The student basically has like 60 days to say yes or no to a school. All that means is that they are agreeing to take the next step. They're agreeing to be an admitted student. It's kind of fun for students to say no to a college. But for those colleges where they say yes, they're agreeing to be an admitted student. They'll share their name and email address. They'll get uploaded into the school system. We have an automated integration into Slate for those schools that are Slate schools. The student will get the lovely letter in the mail. They'll be invited to admitted student events. They're admitted students. They do not need to apply with the Common App or any other system. One of the big goals with Match is just to provide students a longer runway. So students still have the same timeline for that school. It could be May 1, it could be later than May 1, whatever is that school's deadline. There's nothing different with Greenlight Match. The whole idea of Match is to give them more offers from generous and supportive schools that they may have missed. Our goal from the high school side and the CBO side is also to forge tighter connections between colleges and schools and CBOs. Because a college may admit a handful of students from a given school or more, there's more reason for that college to come and visit. There are more opportunities to bring a busload of students to campus. And plus, there's more time to do that. There's more opportunity to explain financial aid and go through that whole process with the family. And so we're hoping that with that longer timeline and more opportunity, students can get better outcomes. And then all of the data, Ellen asked for a report today on offers that our students are seeing across the network. And so all of this data can be made available to you all so that you can see what's going on for students.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I had like a couple counselors were forwarding me the emails, like, oh my gosh, our students got 19 matches. And another one was like, oh, we heard from, some schools in PA and then a school in Vermont. And I was like, great. And I also just wanted to know more, so I'm very excited to be able to kind of see it all in one place as it develops, because we're working with, multiple staff at multiple high schools. So yeah. I appreciate the kind of tech support and that I don't have to put it together. So thank you, Greenlight.
Our first automated integration, as you can imagine, was with Slate because, half of all colleges are on Slate. Many of our colleges use Salesforce or other systems. And so there is an ability to basically batch upload students into Salesforce and other systems. The great thing with Slate is students click yes, and then they're automatically uploaded into Slate, which is awesome. When the student basically student was admitted, they were admitted anonymously. And so there was no record to match the FAFSA to. So the student says yes, the student gets uploaded into the college's system. The student can then send the FAFSA to that college because there is a record of that student to match that FAFSA to. And our hope is that colleges are able to turn around the full financial aid award faster than they typically would because they have all the information that they need and the students admitted much earlier.
So, typically we're coaching students around fit and applying early action, if it makes sense for them. They're likely applying early action to Temple and Drexel and Penn State, right? So that's like November 1st for us. So to already have college acceptances, we're doing our FAFSA workshop this week and we're going into class and like ringing the bell, which is our tradition. When students get accepted, they get to ring the bell, it's whatever. It's a fun thing that we do to just celebrate, and to be doing that in October is like, whoa. Yeah, it's different. It feels really different. And I think it is motivating. There are some students who completed their profile for the September deadline, and then there's some that didn't. So they started, but they were still typically grabbing their transcript. So there's some that are gonna, join for the October deadline. And I do think that like positive peer pressure is happening around this, because there is an excitement of like, oh, wow, this is really real. And it certainly is encouraging and helps with confidence in going into the rest of the app process toward early action with a couple affirmative positive decisions already in hand. So yeah, I think I'll be curious to hear more about what students like and don't like about it. Right now, we're definitely in the honeymoon of like, that was easy profile and I've already got some good matches,
Yeah, when I was at the GWI conference a few months back ago in Philadelphia, I heard someone mention often it's that the first college acceptance is referred, someone referred to as the golden ticket. And for students who did not think that college was possible, and all of a sudden they're getting that golden ticket in October, November, it can be really exciting. And we're hoping it's motivating. Our goal is to give students more options. Hope maybe they'll have a great option through Greenlight Match that can be their home, but we know that not every college is here. And so there are colleges that they will apply to otherwise. And so our goal is, again, motivate them, prove that they are college material, and yeah, just give them more options so that they have a better process come May 1.